Did you know at Wiley Sanders Truck Line that we offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, we offer dental, we offer disability, we offer vision, we offer life insurance, cancer insurance. We also have a 401k where we match up to 4%, dollar per dollar up to 4%. We also have automatic trucks at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. If you go to a truck driving school, we'll reimburse you. And don't forget about the $1,000 sign-on bonus. Money! Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. We help you save for your future.
When you were handed the key to a new Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick or GMC, rev up your imagination. Think of all the places you can go in some of the most stylish, best quality cars available on the market today. Feel confident driving vehicles with superb dependability and safety ratings. And smile, you saved a ton of money because you bought at Bill Jackson. Let the only thing holding you back be the end of the road. A Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC vehicle will not only change your life, it saves you money like nowhere else.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I hope that you're doing well today on a Thursday. Thank goodness it's a Thursday because tomorrow's a Friday, and I hope everybody's doing well, sitting there on your sofa this morning or in your kitchen table, eating a little breakfast and drinking a little coffee. Yes, I hate to say this, as warm as it's going to get today, which they say could get close to 80, it's going to be a cold Friday and a cold Saturday. So we'll be looking at that as my meteorologist starts going over the weather. Let's go to our phones this morning. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. That's Lower Alabama.
Hey, morning.
Where are you calling from, sir?
The best Savior Mountain Brook line, man.
Okay, and of course, now one foot you're rich and the other foot you're poor. Is that right?
1 foot you're rich, and one more foot you're richer.
That's for some folks, is that right?
That's for everybody up here, man.
Okay, what happened? Anybody have anything stolen from them on the last day of signing?
Oh, I mean, Alabama had a couple guys that they wanted that a linebacker ended up going to Tennessee they liked.
Oh, boy. You reckon how many lies they told? You reckon how many lies those Tennessee folks told those guys?
And they had a defensive lineman that ended up flipping to Florida.
Flipping to Florida.
Other than that, you know, they ended up stealing one late from LSU that was huge. Big defensive tackle, one of the top players in the country.
And they got him the last moment. You reckon what lies Alabama told that guy?
Yeah, I guess the biggest surprise of the day was the five-star receiver out of Hoover that had committed to Auburn.
Yeah.
Literally almost 2 years ago. George Pickens at the last minute decides he wants to go to Georgia.
Oh, are you serious?
So the big Hoover wide receiver who had been playing in all the All-Star games with Bo Nix, and everybody was talking about how that was going to be a great tandem for the next several years at Auburn, goes to Athens.
Oh, boy. Oh,
That
boy.
was one of the biggest surprises of the day, I would say.
Man, oh, man. So,
nationally, Troy's got the best class they've ever had. They're like anywhere between 75 to 78.
That's pretty good. You're right.
The only other school in the Sun Belt that had higher rankings was Louisiana Lafayette. I tell you, Billy Napier must have learned something from Nick Saban because he's only been there 1 year and already to have the top class in the Sun Belt is pretty impressive.
No question about it. And what rank were they?
They were like around 71, 72, so Troy was just right behind them.
Yeah, well, of course, I was at a function last night.
I mean, Troy, I will say, on paper, this is the best-looking class I've ever seen Troy sign. I mean, they've got phenomenal-looking athletes. They've got 3 or 4 receivers that are over 6'4".
Yeah, I know it. Exactly right. And I've got the list, Mike, sitting right in front of me. So if we want to see those, and Steve.
Was there a good turnout last night for all
Yeah,
that?
it was a real good turnout. And I sort of felt bad about not going to Montgomery, but I went last night and enjoyed my surroundings of a bunch of Troy folks, and we all they did was go over the last 3 guys they signed, and those were all 3 receivers, and one big.
Well, they also got the kicker out of Northview, Jack Martin.
Yeah, I was wondering how good was he? Is he pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, they said he was, I think, 10 for 14 in field goals and 39 for 42 in kickoffs. So that's pretty good.
Locally, Grant Wilkes of Pike LeBlanc signed with Faulkner. Congratulations to him. He's a kid who lives right around the corner from me, and
so he'll play for
Tommy Wasden.
Tommy Wasden now instead of Shane Wasden.
So I never really put that together that Shane wanted out that soon, and he was a head coach. And
well, he had already had Alabama retirement. And I remember when he retired from Troy, he said, I want to spend more time with my family. I want to go to the beach more. I want to play more golf. I mean, I think he was just kind of ready.
Yeah.
To retire.
And of course, Tommy gets the job. But you reckon I wonder if that was planned?
I mean, you never know. I mean, it's not like Tommy's not credible, though.
Oh, I mean, exactly right.
I mean, he's a guy that can step in and do that job.
And if I know...
I do think it's funny, though, in Montgomery, you got 2 former teammates and quarterbacks coaching in Montgomery now, one at Huntington and one at Faulkner.
Exactly right. 2 of the greatest wishbone quarterbacks that ever walked the face of the earth.
We never really got to see Wasden be great.
Because he played behind Turk. You're right, no question. But he was a great one. I remember him well.
I know Tommy was very strong, though, runner when he did get in the games. He was hard to bring down. He's a big, strong guy.
Yeah, I know it. And, of course, he was a great one. And I wouldn't doubt if when Faulkner plays that Shane will be somewhere, maybe in the box somewhere, don't you think?
I don't know. I don't know how it all works. I mean, that's Division III football, and I mean, it's a lot of us, non-scholarship. I think they play NIA. I think is what Faulkner is. I think Huntington's like Division III in a conference. Yeah. I want to say.
Exactly right. Of course, we're looking at Grant Wilkes again. A big.
Any Charles Harrison kids go anywhere?
I don't see that right now. Troy gets 22 players out of their group, and.
Tell you what, did you see that kid they got Aniana? Man, he's an impressive-looking guy.
I know that.
And over 2,000 yards receiving in his career, and he played defense at Aniana. Aniana went to the 4th round of the playoffs this year.
Yeah, of course, Aniana beat Charles Henson a couple of years back. You remember that?
Yeah, I'll never forget that. I mean, not many times you play for the state championship. Pretty easy to remember that game.
No question about it. I want to mention some of the players that Detroit did recruit and signed yesterday. Chip Lindsey in his first recruiting class. Desmond Barkley, the 6'3", 330-pound tackle from Stockbridge, Georgia. That's the Atlanta area, isn't it?
I believe so. He's definitely going to have a spot with Trey Sanders graduating.
And that's exactly right. I hope he can come and play right away. Cannon Biggs, 6'5", 280, an offensive lineman out of Athens, Alabama. Congratulations to him. The kid that one of the top players that I saw last year, Caleb Dawson, Mike, ended up going to UNA. So good program there, and the UNA is now 1AA, and he is a linebacker.
Where did Dawson play?
Dawson played at Goshen. So okay. I just want to know.
What about the Singletary kid? Where did he end up going?
I don't know where he went, but wherever he did go, somebody got a good one. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Richmond Singletary.
Yeah, exactly. But Richmond Singletary had a very distinguished name, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And we'll be looking at some of those other guys. Troy signed 11 players from the state of Alabama, 6 from Georgia, 4 from Florida, and 1 from Texas.
That's pretty good recruiting grounds.
Yeah, Cannon Biggs, 6'5", 280, an offensive lineman out of Athens High School in Athens, Alabama, and that's a good program. Athens has produced a lot of one. The one I was playing in the pros right now, quarterback, wouldn't you say?
What are you talking about, Phillip Rivers?
Yeah, yeah. All right, Troy got another offensive lineman, and Tyler Burns, 6'4", 290, out of St. Mary, Florida. He went to Baker County High School. 6'4", 290, and he's a pure freshman out of an offensive lineman out of St. Mary, Florida. Another offensive lineman. Boy, they've signed some big offensive linemen. Jalen Childs, 6'5", 285 pounds, out of Anniston, Alabama, Sachs High School. So another one right out of high school, Mike. Devon Curry, 5'11", 165, a wide receiver out of Mount Airy, Georgia. He played at what school, Mike? Hamersham Central. Another one, a coup for Troy, getting another one out of Hamersham, Mike. Okay, you remember Black, what was his name? Such a fine player. He came out of Hamersham.
Yeah, Shane Black.
Shane Black, exactly right. Jacob Free, out of Tattletown, Mike.
Yeah, he'll play with, I guess the Salter kid's got one more year left. Doug Salter was from Brandley, and he's been a backup defensive guy for Troy, so I'm sure they know each other.
I'll take a 6'5", 215-pound quarterback from Brantley any day of the week. From Tattletown comes Jacob Free out of Northwest Mississippi Community College. He signed originally with Vanderbilt. Mike, he was good enough, I thought, to play college baseball and play shortstop.
Yeah, he threw for 2,036 yards, 14 touchdowns, and just 4 interceptions as a redshirt freshman at Northwest Mississippi Community College.
And he's already on campus at Troy, what I like. He's already ready to go and ready to challenge all those guys.
Yeah, so I mean, he's got 3 years left. Can't redshirt him anymore, so he'll definitely be in the mix next year.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, Free, he comes in and to battle. Let's see who the other Troy quarterback.
Yeah, senior in high school was named 1A Player of the Year and Hitter of the Year senior season in baseball.
Oh, really? He was both of those. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, in 1A.
I wonder if he had any kind of deal to play baseball too. He's a pretty good player.
You know, if you go to Vanderbilt, that's one of the best baseball programs in the country.
That's right.
So that's interesting. I don't know if he was trying to do both or what.
Yeah. All right. Tell us how many quarterbacks we got at Troy now.
We got a lot. We got the most I've ever heard of. We got Caleb Barker, who will be a senior. Sawyer Smith will be a junior. Gunnar Watson will be a sophomore.
And Gunnar Watson, 6'6", is that right?
I believe so. And then you got Gavin Screws, who will be a pure freshman.
Out of Jacksonville, Florida quarterback.
And you have Jacob Free that will be a sophomore. So you would think that definitely Screws would redshirt is what you would think.
Unless he's a phenom.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if he's a phenom, he's going to have to be awfully good to beat out Barker.
Barker is pretty good, and so is what I'm saying, it looks like we're going to have 5 quarterbacks. And somebody's going to have to redshirt.
I mean, who knows? Somebody might transfer to West Virginia.
I hope not. All right, Darius G, 6'1", 205, a linebacker out of Cordele, Georgia, Chris County High School. Great football. Let me just say this. A lot of people tell me, Mike, that the best football in the country is played in Georgia. Have you ever heard that?
I mean, you hear that in Florida.
Georgia is loaded with talent, and Florida is loaded with talent, and Alabama's loaded with talent. So we get 11 from Alabama, 6 from Florida, and 6 from Georgia and 4 from Florida. Not bad.
I'm really impressed with Troy, though. I mean, I know Chip Lindsey's got that background, and I know Kenny Edenfield had that background, and the Troy's really done really well in North Alabama over the last 5-6 years.
Somebody's helping us, Mike, evidently, because we are doing a great job. All right, Kalen Geiger, 5'10", 170, a wide receiver kick returner from Fort Worth, Texas, went to Pascal High School and comes to Troy by way of Navarre Junior College.
Yeah, he set records. He had 70 catches, which is the most in the country, and then he had almost 1,000 yards receiving. So he had phenomenal numbers.
Oh, man. He really did. And, of course,
Troy, he's a slot receiver.
All right, Troy losing all of those wide receivers.
I mean, he would be a perfect fit to replace Sidney Davis, DeAndre Douglas, and then, of course, I think a guy that will play in the pros, and oh my goodness, drawing a blank on his name.
Plays for Troy now.
Number 15.
Oh yeah, right. I know who you're talking about.
Drawing a blank for some
the guy that's so fast. The guy that's so fast.
I mean, he's also
Runkard or something like that.
No, I'll think of his name.
All right, okay. Also, the kicker out of Dothan, Jack Martin. Jack Martin, 6'2", 220, out of Dothan, Northview High School.
Of course, Northview and Dothan will merge and become Dothan High. So,
and it looks like they're going to give him a full ride, Mike. How many times do you give a kicker a full ride? Right off the bat, until he earns it.
I mean, I think it's one of those situations where he's a punter and a kicker, so he can do both. And
let me just say this, ladies and gentlemen, if they give him a full ride, they like him. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, you got Evan Lagasse, and then you got Tyler Sumter, the starter, who's the punter and the kicker.
Yeah, he's a good one.
They lost Bratcher Underwood.
Bratcher was probably the most improved player on the whole team, and he was a kicker. Boy, he was an excellent kicker at the end. Don't you agree?
Yeah, and then he had that amazing onside kick in the bowl game.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Okay, Caleb McClain, 6'4", 225-pound wide receiver out of Fairburn, Georgia. That's the Atlanta area. Hutchinson Community College. A guy that can play right now at 6'4", 225.
Yeah.
Christian Murphy, another one out of a great program, Gulf Breeze, Florida. Mike, that's right there next to Pensacola, right there at the bridge. 6 foot, 175, a cornerback. And Kobe Perry, 6'1", 170, out of South Covington, Georgia. Went to Dodge City Community College. They told him, though, ladies and gentlemen, that he's going to have to leave his 6 guns at home.
Because he played at Dodge City.
That's right, brother. We've already got one from Dodge City, but we got one from Fort Worth. Okay, that's Dodge City Community College. Dale Pettis, 5'11", 185, a pretty good-sized defensive back, Mike, from Sparkman High School in Harvest, Alabama. You know where that is, don't you?
I guess it's up around Huntsville, isn't it?
Yeah. Evidently, you don't have anything to add to it. Devon Reeves is a 6'4", 230-pound defensive end out of Salem High School, Conyers, Georgia. You know where Conyers is?
Actually, I don't know where Conyers is.
On your way to the Masters. How many times have I pointed over there to a friend of mine's automobile dealership?
Reeves is a defensive end.
Supposed to be a good one.
Yeah, he had 7 sacks, 41 tackles for loss. So that's pretty impressive right there in his career.
Yeah. All right, give me a rundown on this guy. Tight end Trey Ross, 6'4", 220, out of Tuscaloosa Hillcrest High School. Tell me a little bit about him.
I know he played in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. I saw him tonight catch a few passes.
I'm wondering if he's related to Ross that was at Alabama, coached at Alabama for all those years.
No, it was Randy Ross. He's not related.
Yeah, Randy Ross. That's what I was thinking about, yeah.
caught 46 passes for 662 yards as a junior.
Boy, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not showing a whole lot of senior year. I wonder if he was hurt.
He might have been. Ricky Samuel, how about this? Boy, let me tell you about Troy and their defense. Their defense is dominated, or it's like having a great quarterback. They've got Troy's got to have a guy that is going to play nose guard and make two people have to block him. I think they've got another one, Mike. Ricky Samuel, 6'3", 300-pound defensive tackle out of Bruton, Alabama, the great T.R. Miller High School.
Yeah, he's a guy that made 90 tackles.
90 tackles from a nose guard position.
And he also had 13 sacks as a senior, T.R. Miller.
He said it took not only 2 men, but 3 men to block him.
Listen to this. He earned second-team All-State honors as a sophomore at W.S. Neal. So
he went to W.S. Neal, and then those rich folks from Bruton told him they wanted to play at T.R. Miller. Is that right?
I guess so.
You know the main industry down there, don't you?
McMillan Lumber.
You're exactly right. Macmillan Blodale. Hey, make sure you add that Blodale to it.
I'll never forget, I was in my early 20s, and I was dating a girl, and she was, I guess, Birmingham Southern up in Birmingham, and one of her sorority sisters was getting married, and we went to Bruton. I was like, well, what are we going to do in Bruton? And next thing I know, we go to the Bruton Country Club, and I thought I was at the Mountain Brook Club. Or,
right.
The Birmingham Country Club. It was that nice. I couldn't believe how nice the country club
was. Money in Bruton, Alabama, and of course a lot of them are in the timber business and paper mill business, and of course all you got to do is look around there. That is a huge timber part of the country, and like you said, the quality of life. How many times have I told you that there's quality of life everywhere? You know, I could show you
some.
I can show you some quality of life right here in Troy, Alabama.
Yeah, I know of a few places.
Well, you know, I put on his wedding for 2 of his daughters, and I was with him last night. That was pretty good quality of life when you are smart enough to carry a generator to a wedding party.
You talking about Benny Beard?
Yeah, when you can carry a generator, all the power went out, and he walks out into the woods and flips a switch, and he's got power again. Nobody else in Troy had power, but his wedding party did.
I was looking at some pictures on TroyTrojan.com, and it's easy to spot you and Benny with y'all's white hair now.
Oh, I know it. Gosh, it is bad, isn't it?
Benny kind of looks like Bob Baffert.
Exactly, and I think he likes that. I told him that the other day, and of course Baffert is a pretty well-known white-headed guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Why is Baffert so much better than everybody else? It's almost like Tom Brady, Mike.
Well, I mean, he's just, always has the best horses he ends up training. He always gets the number one. I mean, the big money people always wanted him to train.
Yeah, he's almost the instant favorite at the Kentucky Derby every year. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's true.
And of course, last night we had a party at the Stadium Club to we met all the coaches, Mike, and boy, they have a fine group of coaches. And let me tell you what, I've said it.
I guess a lot of these guys are trying to get to know each other as well. There's a lot of new coaches all
That's
trying
right.
to meet up.
That's right.
Get chemistry.
And I had fun talking to a lot of them last night, and we're going to bring some of them on our show soon. Mike, let me ask you this, and I was very impressed with him, our defensive coordinator, last night. Was he here last year?
Yeah, he was here last year as, I think, a secondary coach.
You know, he's big with the University of Oklahoma. Did you know that?
Yeah, I've read his background before.
Yeah, and I was very impressed talking to him. Of course,
it's shocking news about Oklahoma. Former Oklahoma coach, everybody thought this was a joke and thought that this was not serious at all when they were talking about Bob Stoops joining the XFL as a head coach. But sure enough, Bob Stoops is coming out of retirement, the coach in the XFL, which they're bringing back, which is owned by Vince McMahon, the wrestling guy. He's going to be the head coach of the Dallas franchise. Can you believe that?
Is this the same league that Birmingham's playing in?
No, that's the Alliance. This is the XFL that they had, several years ago in Birmingham.
Now, when does that start?
I think next year, it's going to be owned by Vince McMahon, the wrestling guy again.
Well, is he that rich?
Yeah, he's a billionaire.
Yeah, gosh, the wrestling guy. And how many teams are they going to have?
You remember the XFL? It was in Birmingham.
Oh yeah, how many are they going to have?
I don't know. I don't know if they'll have 8 teams like this Alliance League or 10. I don't know how it's going to work.
Now, does this Alliance League, does it start this weekend or is it a practice game?
No, it starts. It starts on Sunday.
All right, and it's very well, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Silvers, the former Troy quarterback, could be playing in that game. And where will that game be played at?
I want to say it's at Legion Field.
Because I hope they have a good turnout. What do you feel up there?
I mean, they're advertising, promoting, but it's just one of those type of things. I don't know if anybody wants to go to Legion Field on a Sunday for a game anymore.
They've got draft beer there, don't they?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Well, they'll get all the good old boys. They'll all come if they give it to them free.
But once the new stadium opens in downtown, I think they'll draw well.
Are they building that now, Mike?
Yeah, they've already started.
All right, now let me ask you this: the Red Mountain Expressway, won't that interfere with that construction?
Well, I mean, Red Mountain Expressway basically goes around downtown Birmingham, but downtown Birmingham shut down for 14 months.
That's what I'm saying, though. Aren't they tearing down the Birmingham Expressway?
Yeah, they are, but I mean, that's not going to factor in.
That's the way you would go home if you worked downtown Birmingham, isn't that right?
Well, there's side streets. You can come out and go different ways as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to know Birmingham. There's a lot of shortcuts that people take.
Yeah. Want to finish this rundown of...
I mean, my wife works in downtown Birmingham, but she cuts across and goes back through, Highland Park and Elmbrook.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, Gavin Screws, Mike, 6'1", 210-pounder, a quarterback out of Jacksonville, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, Baldwin High School, all he did was throw 85 touchdown passes in his career.
Yeah, I mean, he put up some huge numbers. I got him at 6'2", 210. I don't got him at 6'1".
Well, I'm sure that Troy would like for him to be an inch taller, so we'll add to that then. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, he finished with 7,831 passing yards, 83 touchdowns, 12th most career passing yards in Florida high school history.
And, of course, there was a couple of pretty good ones behind him right there in Jacksonville, wasn't it? Bowles High School?
He played at Baldwin High School.
Yeah, I know, Baldwin, yes. But isn't that where your man came out of Jacksonville?
Tebow played at Bowles.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, Javon Solomon, 6'2", 229, defensive end out of Tallahassee, Godby High School. A lot of people say he is the premier signee of them all. Have you heard anything about him?
Yeah, they talked about him yesterday. He's a new signee. He's a kid that put up huge numbers last year, 73 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, and 10 sacks.
Oh, man. He is supposed to be the real deal, a guy that can play right now. That's what I call a 5-star if he can play right now, Mike, as a freshman.
Yeah, he does look like a guy that can play right now. He was 6'2", 230. He's a big guy.
And can run. Reddy Stewart, Mike, how many times have people asked you about...
He's the highest-rated recruit Troy has.
Reddy Stewart, 5'11", 171, a small defense cornerback out of Austin High School of Decatur.
He earned back-to-back Alabama Sports Writers Association first-team All-State awards.
So he must be the real deal. Does he run back kicks, too?
He played in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. He recorded 36 tackles, 3 interceptions, rushed for 300 yards. He had a really big junior year where he recorded 75 tackles, but he was All-State his junior year as well.
Well, Coach said that he was one that he kept down under, you know what I mean, down under, and then pull him out right at the last. You know, a lot of times you have to keep them down under so these Georgias and Alabamas and Tennessees and Auburns don't jump on them.
Well, also, UAB's success the last couple years as well. Troy's really battling UAB for a lot of guys in the state. South Alabama's class was really small. I mean, I'm sure that Coach Campbell
You know what that means, don't you?
Is recruiting for need.
Yeah, he's going to bring in a bunch of junior college players, too. A lot of times when you see a lot of them, the smaller numbers, they'll bring in guys that can help them right away. He fired a bunch of players, didn't he?
Well, yeah, they went to the transfer portal. At least 10 guys did.
Oh, gosh. They got 10 guys out of the transfer portal.
No, 10 guys that are transferring out of the program.
Oh, out of the program. But in return, they've got to get some to come in.
Yeah, well, just like I was watching Neil Brown's press conference yesterday, he had 3 more scholarships to offer. But he said, I'm going to play it smart. He said, I know how football works now. He's like, with the graduate transfer rules, we need offensive linemen, we need defensive linemen here at West Virginia. He said, I'm going to leave those 3 spots open because we can get some graduate transfers that can help us immediately.
Yeah, that's right. So how did it look? Mike, I ran into a girl at the post office, and I said, wow. You know what I mean by that? Wow. She's blonde-headed, beautiful blonde-headed. Is that Jordan's wife?
Whose wife?
She's a blonde, beautiful blonde-headed girl, and she had a West Virginia jersey on, and I told her, I said, we're going to sure miss you. And
Jordan Leslie's wife? I don't know.
Whoever it is, a beautiful, beautiful blonde-headed girl, and she said she's going to really miss Troy.
Well, it's a situation where, watching these press conferences up at West Virginia, it is sad to see, but you're excited for them as well. It's kind of funny, though. I mean, it's like you've heard these same conversations before out of Neil Brown when he was trying to build up Troy's program, and I'm sure West Virginia fans are excited. Vic Coney's been interviewed a lot, too, so you never really got to hear him interviewed that much. It's kind of fun to hear him talk.
Let me ask this, how were you able to pick all that up?
You just go on WVUsports.com.
WVU Sports. How do we know how to do that? Well, that's West Virginia.
Yeah, you just go on the internet.
Yeah, that's right.
You go on something called Google, and you type it in, and it pops up.
And that's where you get all that information.
TroyTrojans.com. It's the same
Did you
thing.
see any players that he stole from Troy?
I was looking at
Surely he had to steal 1 or 2.
I think he had some guys that they were trying to get to come to Troy but wanted to go to a bigger school, is what he had mentioned before. Yeah. But, he wasn't able to recruit anybody, really, because Dana Hogerson already had a class of 16. So
did he? I didn't know
3
that.
or 4 guys yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
And then he's leaving 3 scholarships open. But, his big thing was he got the quarterback Austin Kendall out of Oklahoma.
And he's a good one, too, isn't he?
Well, I mean, he was the backup at Oklahoma. He's got to be able to throw, and, I would imagine he's a pretty good player. Of course, Jalen Hurts.
All right, and
Jalen Hurts took his job.
Wouldn't you think that the team he had at Troy this year that played in the bowl game was faster than the team at West Virginia? Wouldn't you think that?
I would say speed at Troy is pretty prevalent. I mean, I would say it's got to be. I don't know if it's
at least equivalent or faster.
Just about the same, I would imagine.
No question about it. Reggie Todd.
Neil Brown was mentioning. Apparently, there's really good junior colleges up in the Northeast now, and they're starting to get players out of the Northeast junior colleges, which I never even heard of. Northeast junior colleges.
Now, I have out of Mississippi, Northeast Mississippi.
No, Northeast, like the Northeast, like the states, is what he was talking about.
Yeah, I saw a couple of them too.
Yeah.
Reggie Todd, 6'5", 200, another big wide receiver out of Mobile, Hines Community College. Guys that
I mean, he's a guy that started at Mississippi State, so I mean, he's got experience playing in the SEC.
Wait a minute. You said he started at Mississippi State. How did we get him?
Well, obviously something happened at Mississippi State, and he transferred out.
Well,
and he ended up going to junior college, and now he's got 2 years to play at Troy.
Mike, have you ever had a donut from Dose? Boy, those are good. Just like they make in France. You remember us getting all that good food in France? Well, you can get it right now on the square in downtown Troy. Wonderful food at Dose.
I wonder what time they open. I'm going to be in Troy tonight. I guess I could go out there and grab some on the way out.
Yeah, you're right. In the morning, no question. Jaden Warren, Mike, 6'4", another huge tight end, 191. Receiver out of Aniana High School in Aniana, Alabama, the team that beat Troy 3 or 4 years to go for the state championship.
Yeah, I would imagine he played a few years for Don Jacobs. Of course, Jacobs is at Scottsboro now. But he put up huge numbers. I mean, I knew Aniana had a really good team, but this guy really had phenomenal numbers. He had 136 catches and 2,000 yards receiving and 24 touchdowns in his career.
Yeah, that sounds great. No question about it.
What about this on defense? He had 324 tackles as well.
Yeah, what are they going to do with him now? He's sort of a thin guy, though.
He had 12 interceptions as well. I mean, this guy was a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
6'4", 191. That's not that bad.
I know it. Jamontez Woods, 5'11", 215, a running back, Mike, out of Gadsden City. We'll take him, won't we?
Yeah, Gadsden City's been really down the last 2 or 3 years. But it's a big 7A school, and I would imagine he's a guy that they really liked on film. Didn't have huge numbers in high school. He had 879 yards rushing this year. And then his junior year, he had 849 yards. Yeah. So he's not like blowing you away with his numbers, but
you know what? He's 5'11", 215. So he's that's almost perfect size for a running back in the coming to Troy. You know he's
a 3-star recruit.
Well, you know if we ask anybody on their staff what did they want to recruit first, it looks like they wanted to recruit offensive linemen. And then they wanted to recruit a nose guard. They got 2 of those guys. They got 4 offensive linemen, or maybe even 5 offensive linemen. So it looks like they took care of that.
The kid from Texas A&M, I guess, is going to have to sit out a year.
No, I asked that question. I asked 2 questions. I had a guy giggling because I was asking questions. I said to myself, how in the world does he expect to know unless you ask these questions? And there was a question and answer deal, and if you're still chuckling back there, shut up, man. Some people want to know what's going to happen at Troy. And I found out that this kid is going through the measures right now. The kid we're talking about is the kid that transferred from Texas A&M, Charles Strong, to play at Troy. He's already on campus at Troy. He's 6 foot. What, 6'2", 220? What is he?
Yeah.
6'2", 220, and he came from
Lake Butler, Florida.
Lake Butler, Florida, which is a long ways from College Station, Texas. So that means there could be a room for a hardship here. What do you think?
Yeah, you never know if a family situation, if there's a health issue with a family member, you want to get closer to home, stuff like that is usually granted by the NCAA as far as eligibility.
They really like, though, I talked to the Troy guys about this Woods kid, the running back out of Gadsden, like Coach Bryant always said. He's from out here at Gadsden. What is Gadsden known for, Mike, real quick?
The Goodyear plant.
Boy, I train you so well. I mean, what are you must be looking at a computer or something. How do you know all these things?
Well,
nobody but you knows that they make Goodyear tires in Gadsden, Alabama. Is that right?
Well, Freddie Kitchens mentioned that actually in his interview when he got the Cleveland Browns job. He said, I was a poor kid, didn't come from much. My dad worked at the Goodyear plant his whole life in Gadsden, Alabama.
But I guarantee you he was unionized back then, too. You know what I mean? Hey, a big country like that was unionized, so I bet his daddy made a good salary.
So how long did Coach Lindsey take questions? Did he sit up there? Did the assistants take questions too, or just Coach Lindsey?
Just Coach Lindsey took the question, but all the coaches were announced, and good to see a lot of these guys.
My biggest question would have been, how did you keep all these guys? I mean, I guess what I heard in the interviews, he had to go back out and pretty much re-recruit everybody.
Well, he did. One thing he did do is he didn't
go see their parents, I heard.
See, I think what surprised him a little bit was these administrative people that went with that left too with Coach Brown. Troy just had four coaches. Who were they? Let's see, Coach Williams, Bam
Harmon, Coach Williams, Coach Blackman, and then the new defense coordinator.
Yeah, And so the only one that had been here very long would be Williams and Bam. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Brian Blackman had only been there 1 year.
So, and of course...
You're talking Brandon Hall, your new defense coordinator.
Yeah. And I met Brandon Hall last night, or I've known him a little bit before, but I got to know him a little bit last night. He's got a great family, and the daughter is already going to Troy to school. And Mike, if I remember right, that Jacksonville State defense is the defense that shut Auburn down. You remember that?
Yeah, the longest tenured staff member at Troy University now is Jamal Smith.
Oh, boy. But now, he's not a coach. He's a...
I'm talking about this director of player development. He's been there the longest.
Yeah. And he spends most of his time at B. Graves, doesn't he?
I don't know. I think that's one of his favorite restaurants, I heard.
Hey, I think he's handling aggression.
Yeah, another question I have about Brandon Hall is he was co-defense coordinator at Jacksonville State. Now, when you're co-defense coordinator, does that mean you actually call the plays?
Yeah. Well, another thing...
Yeah, that's a big thing. Taj Laploy had never called plays at Alabama this past season. It really struggled.
Yeah.
So I would be interested to know if he actually called plays when he was at Jacksonville State.
Exactly. Well, let me ask him then, did he coach under Tretron?
No. Oh, Haystack had been gone for years.
I don't know how long has Haystack been gone.
You know, Haystack coached at Louisiana Lafayette as defense coordinator under Husbeth for 5 or 6 years.
Okay, I got you.
And then when Husbeth got fired because of the NCAA violations, he went to coach at Central Arkansas under Campbell.
Exactly. I know this guy has a tremendous Oklahoma background, and people say, golly, they weren't very good. They weren't very good. Well, let me just tell you this. If he coached at Oklahoma, I'll take him, won't you? Pretty good program, wouldn't you say? And
I mean, Oklahoma struggled on defense the last few years, but under Stoops, they were pretty good.
They were really good. He was a defensive guy. I want to mention we signed 5 wide receivers, 3 offensive linemen, 2 defensive tackles, and that's important. 2 quarterbacks, 2 defensive ends, 2 cornerbacks, 1 safety, 1 running back, 1 linebacker, 1 defensive back, 1 tight end, and 1 kicker. Sounds pretty balanced to me.
The only thing I would question is running back if the strong kid's not eligible.
All right, now they've got the kid, the speedster, what's his name, that's been hurt, that played last year.
You're talking about Trey Evert?
Yeah, all right, Evert's that guy you were trying to remember, the wide receiver.
He's number 13.
Yeah, real fast, all right. But the running back...
I was trying to think of Damian Willis, who was the star receiver last year.
Yeah, he's gone.
I know. That's why I was just mentioning that Willis, DeAndre Douglas, and Davis are gone.
But if you remember, Ephraim is a real fast guy.
He's called some big-time, long, bomb catches. He's done a phenomenal job. He's just going to be a junior.
Yeah, exactly. I hope that he can come in close on this. Steve up top, sits around thinking about what he's going to do. He says, I hear this kid, Brady, got his 6th ring. That's nice. All right, look at all these rings, ladies and gentlemen. This is the great Yogi Berra, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's got 10 national championship or world championship rings. Let me read it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 10. He got 2 on one. 10 championship rings. Look at all those championship rings. Well, if you add my 2, Steve, look, come in close on that. If you where did that big shiny ring come from? Who's wearing that? Steve, tell me who's wearing that big old. It's bigger than all those other ones combined. Where did it come from? It's from Troy, their conference ring.
I mean, the most world championships probably by Bill Russell and Bob Cousy, wasn't it?
I don't know, but old Yogi won 10. Come on closer to old Yogi. Was he great or not? All right, Yogi came up with a lot of one-liners, more than anybody in the world. Yogi Berra, the number 8, the catcher from the New York Yankees. All right, what a couple of them, Mike? You got to know a few of them.
I have to look them up. They're called Yogiism.
Yeah, look them up. That'll be fun real quick today. Yogi came up with more one-liners than anybody. Oh, gosh. Mike's looking them up right now. Of course, Yogi is holding a bat, the bottom end of a bat, if you'll notice. And he was saying, big deal, Brady won 6, I won 10. Oh, Yogi. And he came up with more one-liners. In fact, his joke book is a bestseller out there now. Again, want to congratulate some other players here in Troy for being able to.
What about the Pike County quarterback? He go anywhere?
I don't know. I think he did. He's a good quarterback. I know that. And good pitcher of the staff at Pike Liberal Arts. One of my favorite people, Mike, is the head football coach at Pike, and they do a great job. And I know he was pleased to see one of his players sign with what I think is a very good program that's coming up is Faulkner in Montgomery.
Yeah, Gene Allen.
Like you said,
of course, Alabama had the number 1 recruit class in the country. They ended up finishing the day with a huge steal from LSU. Got a big defensive tackle late. That was one of the top defensive tackles in the country. And then also late in the day got another 4-star running back out of the Washington, D.C. area. But Alabama holds off Georgia, who made a late push.
Georgia.
Out of Hoover. So the top 3 classes in the SEC, top 3 classes in the country are Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. How about Auburn? How they do?
Jimbo Fisher can really recruit.
Yeah, look out for A&M because they got money. It talks.
Auburn was right outside the top 10. They finished, I think, 12th.
I'm still looking for where this ring's coming from. Where is this ring coming from? Look at it. Look at him run. Look, where's that big old ring coming from?
Also, nice win last night for Alabama in basketball at home. They bounced back from loss at Auburn, beat Georgia by 15.
Georgia's not very good, though, are they?
Alabama is really a phenomenal story. Alabama this year is basically playing with a 17-year-old point guard who graduated college early. I mean, he graduated high school early to go to college. And, he's put up huge numbers. It's really been amazing.
Who is this now?
Alabama's playing with Tyler Lewis, the kid out of Hazel Green that was supposed to be a senior in high school this year, but he was.
Oh, he did what? The quarterback from
star prospect that they got to graduate early.
Okay. So
he's averaging 14 points a game, though.
Yeah. Okay. Here are a few of those one-liners. I'm gonna show you this guy. Of course, this is Yogi. He said, when you come to a fork in a road, take it. This is some of his one-liners that have become so famous. You can observe a lot by just watching. It ain't over till it's over. How many times you heard people say that? Well, that came out of Yogi, Mike. It's like deja vu all over again. What does that mean, Mike?
Like it's happened before?
Yeah. What does that mean, Steve?
Well,
it is deja vu all over again.
It's like it's happened before.
Yeah, that's right. No one goes there nowadays. It's too crowded. Baseball is 90% mental, and the other half is physical. Talk about baseball. A nickel ain't worth a dime anymore. Always go to other people's funerals, otherwise they won't come to yours. Oh, man. We made too many wrong mistakes. Congratulations. I knew the record would stand until it was broken. Did you catch that, Mike?
Didn't Yogi Berra, wasn't he the manager of the Yankees as well?
Oh, yeah, he was the manager of the Yankees, and the manager of the Mets, too, wasn't he? Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I think so.
How about this? You better cut the pizza in 4 pieces because I'm not hungry enough to eat 6. You wouldn't have won if we'd beaten you. I usually take a 2.5 hour nap from 1 to 4. Never answer anonymous letter. And slump, I ain't in no slump. I'm just ain't hitting. It's a slump.
How tall do you think Yogi Berra was?
5'8", probably, or 5'7", something like that.
Yeah, 5'7".
And isn't it amazing how many home runs he hit? And that goes to show you, I ain't got to be very big, but he had tree trunk arms, didn't he?
Yeah, he had 358 home runs and had over 1,400 RBIs.
He was out of the Bronx, out of the New York area, and he won 10 World Series rings. Now, all of them weren't with the Yankees, I don't think. I think some of them were as coaches with the Mets. Maybe I'm wrong, though. A slump. He says a slump. It ain't no slump. I just ain't hitting. That's what he said about it. But how in the world did I know I'd be talking about Yogi Berra this morning? But the headlines was, so I hear this kid Brady got his 6th ring. That's nice. And then, of course, he's showing his 10 with the Yankees and the Mets, whatever.
Berra's number 8 jersey was retired in 1972.
Okay. All right. Berra was number 8. Who was number 7?
Mantle.
Mickey Mantle. Who is the great number 9 in baseball? Number 9.
Who was number 3?
Number 3 was Lou Gehrig.
Babe Ruth.
Oh, Babe, I'm sorry.
Number 9 was Ted, wasn't he?
Ted Williams, that's right.
Yeah.
Number 6 was who? If you get this, I'm going to fall out of my chair.
Number 6?
Yeah, who was number 6, one of the great hitters of all time?
Stan Musial.
Gosh, bum, I'm fixing to fall out of my chair. How did you know that, son?
Well, you said one of the greatest hitters of all time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the greatest players of all time. Number 3 was Babe Ruth. Number 8 was Yogi Berra. Number 9 was Ted Williams. Now, another number 9 played right under him, but he wasn't near the overall hitter. Was Roger Maris was number 9.
I'll tell you another
Number
great,
7 was the great Mickey Mantle. Yeah.
Who wore 44?
Hank Aaron.
That's right.
And wore 44. What number did
what number did Willie Mays wear?
32.
He wore 32?
I thought he wore 32.
Oh,
I thought he wore 32. Somebody find out about that. I think he wore 32.
Maybe you're right. I don't know.
Who wore number 1?
Number 1?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know many, but I would say Phil Rizzuto or Richie Ashburn or let's see, who else could I remember that wore number 1? Who wore number 2? Do you remember anybody wearing number 2?
No.
I don't either. But those were all some great numbers, no question about it. We're talking.
What number did DiMaggio wear? 7?
DiMaggio wore he didn't wear 7. DiMaggio wore 5. DiMaggio wore number 5, and Gehrig wore number. What did Gehrig wear? Gosh, Mike. Ruth wore 3. Gehrig wore 4, I would think. Then he wore 4. Find out about that, Mike. The great Lou Gehrig, what he wore. Tell me what number Tom Seaver wore.
Lou Gehrig.
But let me tell you this: he did that musical deal without out looking at his computer. But some of the great numbers of all time. How about in football? How many guys wore number 12?
Well, you had Namath, you had Stabler at Alabama.
Yeah.
You know, Tua wears 13. Marino was 13.
What is this brother going to wear? Do you know?
I don't know.
Yeah, Marino wore 13. And of course, number 14 at Alabama, Richard Todd wore 14 at Alabama. Somebody else wore 14, Mike. Who was that?
I mean, he wasn't a great player, but Tyrell Watts wore 14.
Yeah, out of Union Springs, Alabama. You know, his daddy and Mama and Daddy were want to mention also, ladies and gentlemen, that hunting season is over Saturday. Is that right? Or Sunday? Sunday. Hunting season's over.
Yogi won 10 as a player and 3 as a coach.
All right. Yogi won 10 as a player and 3 as a coach. So he's got 13 rings. And, you know, he's the best idea in the world that you don't have to be a big guy to as a catcher. That's right. What now? That's right. You know, he played some outfield. Did you know he played some left field? You know, a lot of people would got his real. He just didn't look like an outfielder. He looked like a catcher.
Garrick wore number 4.
Yeah, so I was right there. Garrick wore number 4. DiMaggio wore 5 for the Yankees, who wore number 6. I should know that.
What did Whitey Ford wear?
I don't know. Here's some other information that he dropped off at just a while ago. It says this is some more of Yogi Berra's sayings. He said, "I wish everybody had to drive. Joe DiMaggio. I wish everybody had the drive that Joe DiMaggio had. He never did anything wrong on the field. I'd never seen him dive for a ball. Everything was a chest-high catch, and he never walked off the field. So I'm ugly. I never saw anyone hit with his face. Take it with a grain of salt. On the 1973 Mets, we were overwhelming underdogs. The towels were so thick there, I could hardly close my suitcase." Did you hear that, Mike? He was talking about the towels were so thick there, I could hardly close my suitcase. So evidently, when they went to a hotel, they stole all the towels. Number 45. Mickey Mantle was a very good golfer, but we weren't allowed to play golf during the season, only at spring training.
Man, how far do you think Mickey Mantle could hit it?
Oh, I don't know. You don't have to swing hard to hit a home run. If you've got the timing, it'll go. That's what he said. I'm lucky. Usually you're dead to get your own museum, but I'm still alive to see mine. So evidently,
the top player to wear number 1 in baseball was Ozzie Smith.
Ozzie Smith? Shoot, I don't know.
The greatest player to wear number 2 was Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter, yeah. He was a good one.
Babe Ruth wore number 3.
Who wore number 6?
If I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on a short break. We'll be right back to more of Today in L.A.
When you are handed the key to a new Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick or GMC, rev up your imagination. Think of all the places you can go in some of the most stylish, best quality cars available on the market today. Feel confident driving vehicles with superb dependability and safety ratings. And smile, you saved a ton of money because you bought at Bill Jackson. Let the only thing holding you back be the end of the road. A Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC vehicle will not only change your life, it saves you money like nowhere else.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
Sorry, Dove from Dixie Trails. You get your truck washed here? Millie Johnson, I know you're not bringing them cow trucks, okay?
I do. They're like me when I leave.
Loretta, what are you doing?
Getting my car detailed.
At Trojan Detail, we do it all.
At Cost Plus 10%, we offer your favorite brands at the best price. At Piggly Wiggly, we keep it simple. We price our products at cost, then add 10% at checkout. We carry all your favorite name brand foods, and we accept manufacturer coupons. Find us on Facebook and see our weekly specials.
Going because you might not get there. Back to our show, Steve brought me by a bunch of Yogi Berra thoughts, and it was really good. If Napoleon had his Watergate, Bill Dickey is learning me his experience. All pitchers are liars or crybabies. You've got to be careful if you don't know where you're going because you might not get there. These are just some of the sayings of the great Yogi Berra. We're having fun with it today. Of course, it is the eve of signing day, and we have several players that we want to mention, Mike, before we go off the air today. Congratulate a lot of young men that are heading up to play some football. We're talking about Caleb Dawson, the linebacker out of Goshen, who I thought was a very good player. He actually won out over UNA over USA, Navy. So he could have gone 1A in football, Mike, and decided to go 1AA at the University of North Alabama.
Well, I might be, want to stay closer to home situation.
He was offered by South Alabama, Navy, Mercer, and Campbell. Troy opens the season against Campbell. Do you know much about Campbell University, Mike?
I just know they're the Camels.
Their nickname is the Camel, no question about it. But I'll tell you what, University of North Alabama got a good one, and so did our friends up over at Faulkner. They got a good one too, so we're awfully happy for him getting an opportunity to play college football. They were talking about Jack Martin, Mike, was a 3-time All-State honorable mention at Northview High School in Birmingham, or in Dothan. He finished his season, senior season, 8 for 10 on field goals, and he had touchbacks. This is impressive, real impressive. 39 of his 42 kicks were touchbacks. Now, that's impressive.
Yeah, that is.
Martin was named the nation's 16th ranked kicker by 247 Sports. He, too, is a 3-star prospect, so congratulations to him and Troy for getting that fine kicker. I'll take him any day of the week, won't you?
Well, I mean, we're blessed with Tyler Sumter. I mean, he's not going to beat Sumter out. I mean, Sumter's a great punter, and he's become a great field goal kicker, but in the future, I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, no question about it. We're looking at this young man, this wide receiver that Troy signed, Mike. The wide receiver, Jaden Warren, is another 3-star prospect. He played high school at Aniana, and he was a top-ranked in the top 60 receivers by ESPN. Now, you think about all the receivers out there, and he's ranked 60. He, in his career, had 136 catches for his career, so quite a player. Another one of the Troy signees that we're excited about.
Here's big news. Richmond Singletary was emotional after his basketball game when he got a call from UAB linebacker coach Nick Gentry.
Oh, boy.
Nick Gentry played at Alabama, so Richmond Singletary will go through Troy, Alabama, to Birmingham to play for the UAB Blazers.
Boy, oh, boy. And I hate that because I thought he was a really fine football player. And let me tell you this. UAB don't just go out there and sign you unless you're good. Don't you agree?
No, there's no doubt about it. Also, UAB got Richmond Singletary's teammate Alex Wright out of Elba as well.
Oh,
so
and he is that big, fine defensive end that everybody's been talking about. And hello, Elba, Alabama. Congratulations.
Yeah, interesting that Troy didn't offer these kids, but, Troy didn't maybe need these, maybe it wasn't the right fit at Troy. So good for these kids to go play for Coach Clark. He's got it rolling up here in Birmingham.
Montgomery had a couple of them signed SEC scholarships. Colin Duncan is the brother of C.J. Duncan at Mississippi State. He signed on Wednesday with Mississippi State. He's out of St. James of Montgomery. Brandon Mack, a 6'4", 225-pound linebacker, has signed with Ole Miss. So he's a pretty good player too, and he's going to Ole Miss, Mike. Alabama, as you mentioned, has solidified the #1 class. I don't know how they do it. How in the world can they tell this, or how many people out there can you gauge how big his heart is? How can you gauge the size of a young man's heart? Don't you agree?
That's true.
Of course, I want to mention Premier, Dodge, Christ, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass. And Jason is dealing, believe you me, on deals right now from Premier, Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep right here in Troy. Of course, Alabama signed 24, Mike. That's a bunch.
Alabama signed 28.
Oh, 28. What are they going to do? They can't keep but 25.
Well, you got to realize they have guys leave early for the draft.
Yeah, that's right.
They had eight underclassmen leave for the draft.
Yeah.
So that frees up more scholarships.
Well, are these guys...
28 is a huge number.
Did you ever see the breakdown on how many offensive and defensive players they signed? They've got even Neal, the running back. How good is he?
And now Neal's the gigantic offensive tackle.
Oh, okay. Trey Sanders is the top running back.
Yeah, he's the guy that's already saying he's going to win the Heisman Trophy.
Where's he from?
IMG.
Oh, that IMG, which is the football factory. Is that right?
Yeah.
Want to mention Quality Roofing. Jeff's ready to do business. Call him right there at 372-0539. Also want to mention Dixieland Dental, located 9 miles north of Dothan on Highway 231. Dr. Michael Precise, Dr. John Strength, Dr. Damon Strength, and Dr. Robert Precise make up one of the largest dental clinics in Alabama. Southern Mississippi interviews Browse, decides not to hire him. What do you mean by that?
Well, basically the president and athletic director stepped in and wouldn't allow the coach to hire him. The coach is very upset wanting to hire Browse, but probably going to end up losing his job after what he said about going against what his president and athletic director's wishes were. Southern Miss job might come open.
Well, I want to tell you this. You're right, it might. We'll find out who's boss, won't we? I'll tell you this. I don't care what anybody says about Browse. He came from being a high school coach to one of the best college coaches in America. Don't you agree?
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize he was at Houston first.
Yeah, that's right.
All the great success at Baylor.
That's right. Want to remind everybody tonight.
The biggest guy Alabama got late was this Asnella Saucer out of Amite, Louisiana, defensive tackle. This guy's 6'4", 334 pounds.
And Alabama got him. Now he'll play.
Got him late. He's the one that really boosted the class yesterday. And then Byron Young, who is one of the top defensive players in the country as well. 6'3", 290. Alabama ended up beating LSU for both these guys.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then yesterday they got the running back out of St. John's College High School in Washington D.C., Kalen Robinson. They were battling USC over him, and they got him as well.
Yeah, in battling USC.
Top guy in Alabama's class though is a guy named Antonio Alfonso, and he's from New Jersey. He's a 6'4", 285-pound defensive end, and he's the #1 prospect.
285-pound defensive end. Al, tell me his name again.
His name's Antonio Alfano.
Antonio is hit and knocked down by Tony Alfonso at the Alabama 2-yard line.
They also
it's going to be hard for that announcer.
Paul Tyson, the quarterback, 6'5", 220. Of course, we know the story of Paul Tyson.
How good is he, Mike? How do you compare him with those other quarterbacks?
I mean, he's pretty good. He's put up phenomenal numbers in high school.
It is. Can he run? Is he a pretty strong runner?
run a little bit. I've watched him in games. He's not like unathletic, I would say.
Yeah.
This guy also was coached by Adam Helms from Troy. This guy put up phenomenal numbers at Clay Chapel. DJ Dale, 6'3", 325 pounds.
So he's a nose guy too, isn't he?
Well, he's a defense tackle. But these are some of the top recruits Alabama got. Of course, they had the #1 recruiting class in the country, so the rich get richer, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, Jacksonville State signed a few guys, the 1AA program. Of course, Wetumpka, whatever happened to that Wetumpka quarterback, Mike, that was so good. Did he sign with anybody?
Well, the starter blew out his knee at the start of the season.
Okay,
I don't know
yeah.
What's going to happen with that situation.
Of course, basketball is going full speed, and Charles Henderson's got a game tonight right here in Troy, Mike. Should be a good one. Looking at some other games, there's several boys and girls games. Let me tell you, this is the most embarrassing thing in the world. Charles Henderson beat Greenville 82-9. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I think Charles Henderson plays Ozark tonight, don't they?
Yeah, I think. Well, the girls. Let's see here. They're not showing them right off the bat here, but it's amazing though how bad. I mean, Charles Henderson is annihilating people. I mean, these people can't even score on them.
Well, I mean, I guess it's you won't really see tough competition until you play up in the Final Four. It looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, we're trying to focus on recruiting and taking a look at some of these guys and I'm sure after the first day, there's still some guys out there, wouldn't you say? That everybody just overlooked?
Well, I mean, basically it's over with now. You've had both two different signing periods, so anybody else you would think would probably be going to junior college.
Yeah, exactly. And, given an opportunity to play, and that's the key. And some kids didn't make the grades, but they are got an opportunity to play in junior college. Looking at Dothan, they've got the Dothan paper has a picture of Richmond Singletary, a guy and Alex Wright, who's huge. Boy, he's a good-looking player. And these are guys that have signed.
I tell you what, that's one thing I wish that would really happen. Of course, Troy had no. It wasn't Troy's fault that UAB disbanded their program, and Troy was playing UAB every year. But hopefully that'll be something they can rekindle, is that Troy UAB game. That's a great game for the fans.
Oh yeah, no question. Trojans had 5 signees. Chip talking about out of the Wiregrass. They got Brandon Brown's carryovers. Talking about the guys that went out and recruited all these guys, and
I guess the greatest player all time out of Elba to play at Troy would be Ted Horstad, wouldn't he?
No question, the greatest player. You're exactly right, Mike. No question about it. Of course, Troy basketball is on the air tonight and playing at home. And
you're talking about a must-win. This is the must-win of all time tonight.
And of course,
they lost 3 straight conference games. They now have a losing record overall. If Troy didn't come out and play great basketball tonight, I'll be shocked.
I will too, and hopefully they're
playing against a team that's only won 7 games all season, but unfortunately one of those wins was against Troy.
Oh gosh, yeah. Charles Henderson playing Carroll for the championship in the area tonight. The boys, they play at 5:30, and then the men at Troy play Arkansas Little Rock. Is that who they play?
Yeah.
And they play them at 6 tonight, so that's going to conflict a little bit, no question. I was looking at the basketball, Charles Henderson versus in girls basketball. They play tonight too against Carroll of Ozark. So
when you're getting beat 83-9, you just ask those officials to do a running clock.
That's what they do.
Over.
That's what they did in Enterprise the other night, and for the girls. And
it's almost hard to believe though at a 7A school how a girls program at a 7A school couldn't compete with a 5A school at all. It seems like they would have to have some athletes.
Yeah, no question. But see, the domination of their big men inside just shuts off all chances to score from 10 feet on in. You know what I mean? Not
big man, but big woman.
Big woman, excuse me. She knocks everything away. We're talking about Davenport, their great player. She's already been said to be one of the top 5 players in America, Mike.
Well, she was already top 15, man.
I know that's saying a lot. But what she does more than anything, she doesn't try to. She passes the ball off, and she doesn't. I'd like to see her try to score as many points as she can. I don't know if they've ever done that with her, but I would love to see her do that tonight. See how many points that she can score in a game without dishing off to somebody. But what she does more than anything to the other team is she just takes away the short shot because she's going to slam it right down their throat. She is an excellent shot blocker, and it takes timing to be an excellent shot blocker, Mike, and that's what makes her so good. And
the kid from Charles Henderson, I talked about, came out of nowhere, that Josh Roberts kid.
Oh, yeah.
For St. John's.
No question about it.
That's what he was good at more than anything, was blocking shots and altering shots.
Exactly, and I'm wondering
if... It's still hard to believe that in Troy, Alabama, of all places, we're going to have we already have a 6'9", 220-pound Josh Roberts playing at St. John's up in New York, and now we're going to have the 6'4" Moore Davenport playing at Rutgers.
That's right.
Jersey,
that's right.
Across from New York. I mean, how in the world is this happening at Charles Henderson High School?
Exactly.
So these kids are going so far away.
And he was a great shot blocker too.
To play college basketball, it's a shame for these parents. They'll never get to see their kids play.
I'll tell you something that's sort of a shame tonight. They've got the big game at Troy. We're trying to draw people to that game. But the girls at Charles Henderson play at 5:30 against Carroll of Ozark. And then at 7 o'clock is the big game between Charles Henderson and Greenville. So those two games sort of are being played at the same time Troy is playing.
Well, think about poor Coach Graham. Don't you know he'd probably like to watch his son play basketball tonight?
Yeah, no question about it. And but like you said, it's a huge game for Troy. And
I mean, Troy's basketball team. You don't go on the road and you beat Western Kentucky. You don't go on the road and beat UAB. UAB's leading conference yet. USA in the standings of basketball right now as well. I mean, you almost beat St. Louis, who's like, I think 16-5.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a very talented Troy team. They just can't play consistent for some reason.
You're exactly right. I was looking here, Mike, at we just saw that. Cadillac Williams is going to get $300,000 to play at Auburn. Is that right?
Yeah, $325,000. And people were calling in the radio show and saying that was a pay cut from what he got paid when he played there.
Yeah. Well, that's you talking now. But there's an article in the paper today talking about Horton is no longer on staff. You talk about.
Well, he was the running back coach for 6 years, and he got demoted to off the field position, and you can't blame him for
to allow room for Williams on the staff. People don't realize that coaches have numbers too that they have to go by. Isn't that right?
Well, now you can have 10 on the field assistants, so that makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And Mike, I was tickled pink.
They also have the rule now where you can't hire a coach if you recruited one of his players within the last 2 years, too. The NCAA has that crazy rule.
Yeah.
So that kind of hurts as far as bringing people onto your staff.
What is that rule again? Say it again.
You can't coach on the field if you've had one of your players recruited by that university in a 2-year period.
You're exactly right. Mike, I was real tickled that Coach Faulkner is going to be hired by Troy.
He's already been hired.
And he's a former Enterprise head coach who'll be in charge of high school relations, which I think he'll do a great job of that, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, Dave Faulkner's a Troy grad. I mean,
everybody likes him.
Brian Blackman's a Troy grad. Cornelius Williams, a Troy grad, played football there, was a good player. Davern Williams, a great player. And So you got guys that, are Troy graduates on that staff.
Boy, I saw Davin last night, Mike, and it was just like a homecoming to get a big old hug from a guy that looks like him. He is a good-looking guy, man. Big, strong guy.
I have to look. When he came out of high school, I wonder what kind of stars he was. He was a, signed with Auburn.
Yeah.
He was a big-time player that Troy ended up getting to transfer. Of course, that was all about Coach Bladeney's connections,
Yeah, no question about it. Of course, we're looking at Alabama as the number one.
He basically did what Jacksonville State does now. Back then, he got all the Auburn transfers, and that's what Jack State does now. They get all the Auburn transfers.
Yeah, they do. They get a bunch of them. Evidently, they've got an end there. And, of course, a good-looking look at Auburn's recruiting, and they really felt good about it. Well, how'd they rank finally, Mike, at the end?
They ranked number 11.
And if the guy from...
But, Clemson didn't have a banner year either. Clemson only finished 10th.
Yeah. Of course, they signed 3 4 stars.
SEC dominated as always.
Alabama's total of the nation's leading 23 4-stars signing, and so that's pretty impressive for Alabama. 23 of their guys were 4 stars.
Yeah, it's a situation where Alabama, with this coaching staff, a lot of these guys are gone now. We're just tremendous recruiters. And, a lot of those guys have moved on to other places. But, Saban's brought in guys that are good recruiters and probably better on-the-field coaches. So we'll be interested to see what happens. When you got Tua coming back and you got those receivers, you got Najee Harris at running back, pretty much everybody on the offensive line comes back except one guy. Alabama's going to put up phenomenal numbers on offense again next year.
Well, another thing.
All about what kind of defense you can put on the field.
So you can say Alabama for the national championship again next year?
Well, it's going to come down to one game, really. Can Alabama win at Auburn? And then I think Alabama's going to, have a game in College Station against A&M. To get to the SEC championship, I don't know if they'll beat Georgia. You got to think it's in Georgia's mind a little bit, though.
Yeah, no question about it.
Auburn's going to be, I think, decent if they can find any kind of quarterback play because their defense is going to be really good.
Yeah. Mike, people are going to wonder how Alabama ended up getting this player out of that LSU had in their fold. In fact, I'm sure they weren't even worried about this guy. They thought he was here. He's out of Laurel, Mississippi. The
guy they got at the very end was from out of Louisiana.
That's what I'm talking about. But it says he committed defensive lineman Brian Young of Laurel, Mississippi, who never wavered.
Alabama got him over LSU too.
All right.
He played Mississippi high schools.
And don't you know that LSU is wondering how they did it?
He had previously committed to Alabama, but had not signed early. And was visiting at LSU at the end, so they thought that maybe he might flip.
He's 344 pounds. He's a defensive tackle, and his name is Ismail Sofsher. Is that who we're talking about?
Yeah, that's the guy that got laid that really made him, for sure, number one recruiting class.
Well, it's the number 8 defensive tackle in the country by one service.
Oh, he's number 2 defensive tackle is what I read in the country.
All right.
He's a guy that basically you can put over the nose. He's a run stopper.
Yeah.
That will really probably play immediately at Alabama.
Now, Alabama added what I think, Mike, is a good signing, and they think so. 5'9" tailback out of the Washington, D.C. area. His name is Keelan Robertson, a tailback. They said he's an electric tailback from talent-rich D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. Who held?
He played at St. John's. That's that team that came in and played Hoover this year and beat him by 40 points.
Yeah. Oh, really? He was one of the ones. So they just grab him up after they saw that. Is that right?
Well, it's Mike Loxley. The Maryland coach now had all those connections from up there.
Oh, now we know the rest of the story. Now Maryland's going to start getting a lot of them. You reckon?
Well, you would think so. Loxley. Loxley was there when they had all those great Maryland teams. You remember when your favorite coach was Ridge? Ralph Friesian was the coach.
Yeah, that's right. Big guy.
Troy actually played them in a game up there, and I was like, let's go to Maryland. I figured Troy would play them tough. We got our brains beat out by Maryland. You remember that?
I remember that. Yeah, our quarterback was Hansel Bearden. You remember him?
Hansel didn't have a very good day that day. I think he threw about 3 interceptions.
Real good article on Troy in the Dothan paper, and of course, hey, there he is, Chip Lindsey, Mike, sitting at the table. And let me tell you, I was with him last night in a great production last night. We were there with our cameras. And I'm more and more impressed with this guy, Mike. He is something else, no question about it. And they're excited over this.
Well, a lot of that's really good. That's one thing, Malzahn's really good about letting his assistants be on camera and get interviews and experience and all that. So, I don't think he's ever been, really jittery or nervous to do interviews because he did so many when he was at Auburn.
You could have gone to their website last night or yesterday and known firsthand who was coming there because they would open up the letter of commitment right there in front of everybody.
Yeah, I watched it, yeah.
Why didn't you call your daddy and say, Daddy, you can watch that on cable?
I don't know. I was just going on TroyTrojans.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like our laid-back look. We get our coffee laid back. I talked to my son on the phone laid back.
We got my crying little daughter running around during the show.
Let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to say something about my son. He is knowledgeable about what's going on. I reckon you read about 5 or 6 papers every day, but you keep up with people better than anybody I know.
Well, it's a situation where when I was a very young kid, I watched SportsCenter probably about 5 times.
Instead of studying, that was a problem. Instead of studying, you locked your door and watched SportsCenter.
And then I got all this random knowledge about sports. Of course, I've been going to games since I was a baby. And I guess my true passion in life has always been sports. Now, it hadn't led to much in life. I probably have won a few trivia contests and won a few free tickets to games and concerts and stuff. But other than that, it hadn't really brought me.
Well, I tell you what, I'm glad you're on my side.
It's one thing that comes easy to me in life is remembering sports.
Yeah, and I like that. And, well, you do a great job with me. I tell you that, no question. He fills us in. He fills us all in.
I'll say my life has changed a lot with a 2- and a 1-year-old. My focus is not I love ball more than anything in this world. I love to go to games, but once you have a family, a lot of stuff changes. Yeah,
no question about it. I'm glad that you're mature enough to say that. Let me mention this. Talking about Stewart, this kid that signed with Troy. He played in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, Mike, and his name is Martin.
His name is Reddy Stewart.
Yeah, Reddy Stewart, and they just said, well, they're telling me
he's the top recruit in Troy's class.
And they're saying that he could have gone to a lot of big schools. He had several schools he turned down to go to Troy.
Yeah, he turned down Kentucky and Michigan for sure.
And then the defensive end, Solomon, the kid out of Godby, was also a big-time recruit. And, of course, he's a big-time pass rusher. And, hey, they act like he can play right away. And, and I'm sure they're happy about that. It tickles me to see Troy would take the kicker from Dothan, decided to come to Troy instead of South Alabama, and I'm glad he did, and we're excited about him coming. This 39 out of 42 kickoffs in the end zone last year was pretty impressive.
Yeah, Troy is, like I said, pretty much will probably redshirt this kid. I don't think they'll need him until maybe next year.
Yeah. All right, we're showing the show we did from the
So what, did you interview people last night, or did you just film it?
We just filmed it. We interviewed a little bit, and we did get some opinions of what we saw. But the show we did last night from the press box, Mike, or from the Stadium Club, is going to show right after this show, right at 8:30. So we hope that you enjoyed our show today.
Man, well, I hope people get out and support all the basketball.
And I'm sure we'll be talking tomorrow because Mike, wants you to do some research on the 5 quarterbacks that Troy has to pick from and it's very impressive. I'm talking about very impressive, the quarterbacks that we have to select from as Coach Lindsey goes into spring practice in March. I hope you enjoyed our show, brought to you by Jim Skinner Honda right here in the Dothan area, and we appreciate it so much. Hope that you've enjoyed our show today. We've been talking sports, and that's what we do pretty much every day. Hope that you've enjoyed some of our comments about signings, and we'll be doing a lot of that tomorrow right here on this show. Basketball game tonight, 6 o'clock for the Trojans tonight from the Trojan Arena. Big game, Little Rock and Troy. Starts at 6. Should be a good one. Hope to see you there.